Uh, this is a video I don't want to do because I know it's going to get some hate, it's going to get some love, but we're going to do it. So let's do it. All right. So, sorry for the messy hair. Just woke up, got a shower, worked out, all that other jazz. Not in that order. That'd be weird.
Awkward.
But anyways, so what you're about to see in the background is gonna be some Tower Fantasy gameplay, while I speak over it. So enjoy that. So yeah, Tower Fantasy versus Genshin Impact. I'm gonna try to get right into the meat and potatoes here because I don't want to waste a lot of time. Because to be honest with you, this video could be like 2 hours long because I could break down everything. But let me get into the meat and potatoes. So right now, currently, I'm only AR 35 in Genshin Impact, but I have done extensive research on what the end game looks like in Genshin Impact, so I can give you proper knowledge on what that looks like, so I'm not speaking out of my ass. Tower Fantasy, I only reached level 25. I have done research on it, but I can't find too much info on the end game for it. So I will pretty much give you what I've got from research on that, and then compare apples to apples. Now, first off, let me start by saying Genshin Impact and Tower Fantasy are different games. You're gonna hear people say that, and some people are gonna be like, "Oh, no, they're not. They're just, it's a reskin or this and that." Blah blah blah. They're different games. Look at it this way: Genshin Impact is like Breath of the Wild, right? And Tower Fantasy is like Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, and Fantasy Star kind of had a baby, and Genshin Impact kind of had a baby, and then bam, you get Tower Fantasy. Which is really good because it's funny because Tower Fantasy gets a lot of hate from how much it copies other games, but I think that's one thing that is there that's to love about Tower Fantasy, because I mean, if something is doing something good, something right, and it's successful, freaking copy it, right? If Arnold Schwarzenegger says bench press is gonna get your chest bigger, and guess what? It's gotten his chest bigger. To do that, maybe it'll work, right? But yeah, so they are different games, but they can be compared because of the art style and because of kind of how the systems work and stuff like that. You can't really compare optimization and stuff like that of Genshin compared to Tower Fantasy, because Genshin has been out for almost 2 years now, whereas Tower Fantasy is that was I we literally just played the closed beta, so there were bugs, there were some issues. So I can't really compare that, but I will say Genshin Impact is a very polished game. It's a very beautiful game, and Tower Fantasy, there's a lot of moments there is, I wouldn't say just as beautiful, because I feel like Genshin has a little bit, just a tad bit of advantage, when it comes to the artwork and style and stuff. But again, who knows? When Tower Fantasy drops, who knows what kind of graphic settings they might have? Who knows what it's going to look like in 2 years? Tower Fantasy could have insane graphic updates in 2 years and stuff like that. So that's something that got to be mindful of. Now, if you guys are wondering, I did previously in the past, I quit Genshin. I got to AR 35 and then I quit Genshin. There are reasons which I'm going to explain in this video. But yeah, am I playing Genshin again? Yes, of course. After playing Tower Fantasy, I kind of missed Genshin, so I kind of got back into it. But there are reasons, like I said, that I quit. Let's get into one of the most important topics, because I kind of feel like this actually might be a little bit more important than the end game topic. We're going to talk about this one, and then we're going to talk about the end game, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Now, before I talk about the topic, let me first start off by saying I personally, my opinion, I do like Tower Fantasy more. And it's for this reason: the gacha system. I hate with an absolute passion the gacha system in Genshin Impact. And it's kind of a thing that I hate actually in a lot of gacha games out there. I feel like if you're spending so much money, there should be a valuable return, and there really isn't in a lot of gacha games. You can spend hundreds of dollars and walk away with nothing. I've done it before in Genshin, and it's terrible. It is a terrible feeling. Trust me. Tower Fantasy, I feel like, corrects some of that. Now, wait, I have no idea how much things are going to cost in Tower Fantasy, and I have no idea if they're going to change the summoning system. The way the summoning system works in Tower Fantasy is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. You pull, so let me explain this. In Tower Fantasy, you pull for a character, right? Which is technically a weapon. It's a character and weapon all in one, because the way it works is you're pulling for the weapon, and the weapon is the main subject. The character is not really important. You're pulling for the weapon, but the weapon is tied to a legendary character, which then you can change your skin of your character to look like that legendary character, which I think is a very fantastic freaking system, by the way. I really like how that works. So you pull for the weapon, and that's it. That's it. You also pull for something else, which are these chip things, but I'll get into that in a second. So you pull for the weapon, and you have 80 multis, right? So you can do up to 80. Once you get to 80, you are guaranteed an SSR. But every 10 pulls, you're guaranteed an SR or an SSR. And on top of that, if you pull an SSR on pull number 15, your pity does not reset. This is one of the strongest, and I mean the strongest things that this game has going for it. I got to pity numbers are 62, and in those 62 pities, 62 pulls, I managed to pull like freaking, I don't know, like 10 to 20 SRs, and then I pulled freaking 2 SSRs, which were really freaking cool. But even the SR were like super dope, and I found myself really juggling, because you can only use 3 weapons at a time. So I found myself really juggling on which ones I liked the most. I ended up pulling this shield axe thing that was just, it was just so wicked. But anyways, so you can get lucky and pull 5 SSRs in a row on pity number 70, and guess what, you're still guaranteed an SSR on 80. And the way that works is it works not only for the normal banner, but it also works for the event banners too. Now obviously the event banners and the normal banner do not share pities and stuff like that, but here's the but part. When you summon on the event banner, you get these coins for summoning. When you get these coins for summoning, you can actually, those coins, say you didn't get the event hero or whatever and the event's over, those coins transfer over to the normal coins. You can use those coins to actually buy characters. You can use those coins to even buy the event characters if you pulled enough over the event banners. And the event stuff does carry over and stuff, so that's pretty cool too. So you find yourself in situations where it's like, well, I might as well summon, I got nothing to lose. Now again, it's beta, so I can't really touch on it too much because I don't know full information on it. If they literally copy and paste the beta summoning and stuff like that over to the full game, that will be one of their strongest selling points, because I think that's just like such a good system. It is such a great system. And I know for the event banners, there is obviously a rate up when getting an SSR, so if you are going after specific characters and stuff like that. Now we talk about Genshin Impact gacha system. Now the Genshin Impact gacha system is the reason why I actually quit Genshin. I want to use the word predatory, but I don't want to be too offensive. Again, I think Genshin is a phenomenal game, and I really, really like it. But it can get you. It really can. Now, the way the gacha system works in Genshin is it's 90 to pity. So if you pull all the way up to 90, you're guaranteed an SSR. Now, if you pull to that point, say you pull 10 summons and you get an SSR, your pity resets. Now, if you go all the way to 90 for like the event banner, you are not guaranteed to get the event character. No. Only do you get the event characters if you go through a second time. So there was a time in which I had to go through all the way through to 90, didn't get the character, and I had to go all the way through again just to get the character. The thing about Genshin is they have a character and they have a weapon system, which I hate. I hate it with a passion because when you pull a character in Genshin, it makes you feel like you also need to pull the weapon that's kind of meant for them, or a really good weapon that's meant for them. The worst part about it is the rates are almost the same. Like, I think the rate on a event banner is like 0.6, and then the weapon banner is 0.7. So it's not really that big of a difference, and pity still works the same exact way too. So you can literally pull all the way up to 90 on the weapon banner, get a SSR weapon that's not the one you need, and you have to go all the way back to 90 again, which I think is the stupidest shit to ever exist because of how expensive it is. It is so much. If you're playing with your wallet, it is so much money to get enough, what's their currency called, primo gems. It just sucks. It really does. And I know some people say, oh yeah, but that's, that's whaling, don't whale and stuff. If you don't whale, you almost feel hurt in a sense. If that's the way to put it, because you feel kind of behind. Everybody's using these, because in Genshin there is a meta. There is, and I'm pretty sure in Tower Fantasy there will be a meta too. But in Genshin there's like a strong meta. There's certain characters that you want to use. There's certain weapons that you want to use, and all that other jazz. And that's the thing that I really don't like. I don't like being told what to do or how to play a game. When I'm playing video games, I kind of just want to have fun. If I see a banner with a character I like, I want to pull in that banner, pull that character, and that's it, and worry about that. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of dollars to pull for the character, then hundreds of dollars to pull for the weapon too. That's just ridiculous.
I can't eat. I'm broke. I'm broke.
And yes, people say, well, Tower Fantasy has a gadget system that you have to pull on their banners. Well, the thing about the Tower Fantasy gadget system is that they chop everything in half. So the rates are increased, but the pity is chopped in half. So instead of being a 80 pity to 40 pity, they understand that it's like, hey guys, you know what? We're asking you to pull on this banner, and there's another banner here that kind of has these gadgets you might want for your character, but you know what? We know that's kind of intense to do all those summons, so we're gonna chop this in half. That's huge. That's so big, and it's actually an amazing system, because now I feel like, hey, that's actually kind of worth it, Like, it's not too bad. Whereas Genshin is just like, you can really get shafted in that game, and it hurts. Now that's one of the differences too. Whereas they are different games, because in Genshin, there's a direct meta, right? There are certain characters you want to use for certain things, and that's in the way the game works and stuff like that. Now I'm pretty sure in Tower Fantasy it'll probably end up getting like that too, but from what I can tell from all the research I've done, there really is no meta right now. It's just kind of like, use the weapons you want and just have fun with the game. That's why a lot of people, they're gonna re-roll, and you're gonna notice people are gonna re-roll for just different things. Me personally, I have no idea if I'm gonna re-roll in Tower Fantasy, but that would probably be a separate video once I do more research. But yeah, so the gacha system, that's a clear and easy winner, is definitely Tower Fantasy. If you want something a lot less predatory, I don't really like using that word. If you want something a little bit more laid back and fun, and you don't feel like you're gonna hurt your wallet, or you don't even want to touch your wallet, I would definitely say Tower of Fantasy is the go-to. I feel like you're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck when it comes to summons over there, and you're not gonna feel hurt when you pull a character and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but I need that weapon. And the worst part is too, another thing is with Genshin, is that it's the same currency.
No!
Like, I can understand a premium currency for the heroes, but then you have to use that same premium currency for the weapons. No, right? So yeah, clear coat winner, not even close. Definitely Tower of Fantasy. So the end game. So the Genshin Impact end game. From the research I've done, obviously I'm only AR 35, so I haven't reached end game. But from the research I've done, it's pretty much events and Spiral Abyss, and that's it. I've heard so many complaints about the end game of Genshin and how shit it is that it's becoming a real scary thing for a lot of people. And even big YouTubers and even streamers are looking for other games to play because they have thousands and thousands of dollars spent in Genshin and so much grinding that they've done that they hit the end game and there's just nothing to do. Now, if you did start Tower Fantasy and you started Genshin Impact at the same exact time, you're not going to have that issue. You're going to have loads and loads and a shit ton of fun. Do I recommend doing that? No, because both games are not like other gacha games on the phone. Like when I play Dokkan Battle, I can log in for an hour, I can do some dailies, I can get my stamina wasted, and then I'm done for the day, right? With Genshin Impact and with Tower Fantasy, that is not the case. Those are the kind of games that if you were a new player and you started Genshin Impact right now, you can be in it for the long run. You got months of content to play and grind. And guess what? In that months of content to play and grind, you are going to be able to do a lot of summons. So that's not nothing to concern yourself about. But the same goes for Tower Fantasy. Now the difference is, like I said, Genshin Impact's endgame. Apparently, I can't really tell you. I only know research, but apparently is absolutely garbage. Whereas Tower Fantasy, from the research I've done in that one, the end game is pretty fun apparently, because Tower Fantasy does have a PvP system, which Genshin Impact does not. And in Tower Fantasy's PvP system, it is completely balanced. So before people say, pay to win, pay to win, pay to win. No. So you can have legendary weapons all you want. No. When you go into the PvP in Tower Fantasy, all the weapons are balanced and everything's equal footing and all that other jazz. Now, obviously, with PvP systems, there's gonna be some cheeky stuff, there's gonna be some cheap stuff and blah blah blah, but we'll see when the full game releases how it really looks. But with Tower Fantasy Endgame, there is the PvP, which is always fun and loads to grind. There's dungeons, there's raids, and I believe there's world bosses. If I read that correctly, I feel like I've seen it somewhere. So there's always these things going on and things to grind. I know people be like, well, Beards, well, what's gonna happen when you complete your dungeons and your raids and then you have all the gear you need and stuff like that? Well, then you're just chilling. You wait for the next content. But at least you got PvP to do, so you got something to grind for. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. Also, they released footage and gameplay for the Battle Royale system that they have, which looks really freaking dope. I'm not even going to lie. It looks incredible. Obviously, some glitches and bugs there, but I mean, it's a beta, right? So there is a lot of endgame to look forward to in Tower Fantasy from the research I've done. Whereas with Genshin, all I hear is Spiral Abyss, Spiral Abyss, Spiral Abyss. And it's just like, it's a sad, sad thing. Now, again, this is no hate towards Genshin at all. I'm going to wrap up here. I think they're both phenomenal games. One thing I forgot to touch on. This is actually really important. Dupes. 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 So that goes back to the gacha. Are fucking horrible in Genshin. And again, it's one of those predatory systems where you feel like you need to pull dupes for your character to really shine. And then it sucks because then you'll watch some YouTubers and your streamers and then they'll say, oh yeah, this character at C6 really shines. And it's just like, who the fuck do I look like? Bill Gates? Bitch, I ain't got money. Like, that's actually how I feel. Because it's like, how do they expect you to do that many summons to get dupes for these characters with a rate at 0.6%? Now with Tower of Fantasy, the dupes do make a difference. They do have a big impact. From what I can sense and feel, it's not that big of a deal. Also, there is a system where you can use, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you can use certain currency or whatever like that. Or if you pull certain other weapons, you can use those dupes to upgrade weapons. Or I don't know how it works over there, but I know the system in Tower Fantasy is not as bad. Is a dupe system too, and there are some really nice benefits. There was a healing staff I got in Tower Fantasy, where once I got a dupe for it, I can actually like dodge an attack and it heals me, which was really freaking cool. But when I was reading a lot of the like how the dupes work and stuff like that, I didn't feel like, man, I absolutely need that or else I'm gonna be at a huge disadvantage. Again, this is honeymoon phase though, and again, the game is not fully released, so I can't give my full thoughts on that. So, all right, back to the to the end game spiel. Now, with the end game, like I said, Genshin has that problem, and Tower Fantasy. I'm gonna finish it with this. Tower Fantasy, we don't really know too much. Now, this has been a Tower Fantasy versus Genshin impact, but to be honest with you, it's not even a fair comparison because one, they're different games. Two, Genshin Impact has been out way longer and we only played the closed beta. And three, again, we only played the closed beta of Tower Fantasy. So we have no idea what we're going to get for release. For all we know, we could get the Battle Royale mode could be with the full release of the global. So that could be awesome too. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, personally, I don't think I'm going to play both games because from the looks of it, there's going to be so much to do in Tower Fantasy. And there's so much to do in Genshin Impact that playing both games, you're going to have a lot of time on your hands, which I don't. But anyways, what do you guys think about Genshin Impact? And what do you guys think about Tower Fantasy? Do you think it's a fair comparison? Do you think you could really compare it to the two? And which one do you think is better? Do you think Genshin Impact is better than Tower Fantasy? Do you think Tower Fantasy is better than Genshin Impact? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And peace out.